Shop owners are being warned to tighten their belts ahead of what's expected to be a significantly taxing year. Founder of Small Business Women Australia, Amanda Rose, joins me now. It's going to be tough, isn't it, 2023?
It's very tough. I think people have this impression that businesses are just resilient and they don't have any bills to pay and that inflation doesn't impact them. So if you look at a small business, say in retail, they might have an online store, but if they've got a physical store and a lease they can't break and then it goes up or the rent goes up, they then have to pull from their small profit margins to pay for that. They can end up shutting down and being in debt. I know of a businesswoman who has a $300,000 loan that she has to pay off even though her business had to shut down.
But the government has come to the rescue. Millions of households and small businesses will receive a discount in their power bills next year. Parliament will be recalled. A $1.5 billion energy plan from Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. What do you make of all of this?
Well, a good political move, isn't it, to keep people happy and surviving. The thing is, they promised that power bills would go down. So it's really delivering on a promise that was made that got them, a big one that got them elected. But it's also smart because without small businesses, the economy will collapse. And again, people forget that. And individuals too. So if you can't afford to live or pay rent, you then can't impact your job that you're going to. So it has a huge impact. So it's smart, but very strategic politically too.
Absolutely. And look, for small business, we're seeing, commercial rentals prices haven't moved that much. But at home, where you've got to try and rent a property or get into the property market, it's really tough.
It is, and in some places they've gone up quite a lot. So really this is where people need to be quite strategic and they need to mix. So for example, if you're a single mum and you have a friend that's a single mum, work together, share the property if you can. Really go back to that. A lot of people want their space and their independence because people worked from home for so long during COVID and they like that, but sometimes we need to go, right, that's not a reality right now, let's work together. So reach out to your networks and say, what can we do? It could be granny flat that you have at someone's home, just for a year, save your money and then you can potentially move forward.
One thing a lot of people don't do is their due diligence in and around taxation. They really need to talk to their accountant, particularly if your office is at home, of what you can work with and what you can get back.
It's interesting you say that. A lot of small businesses and people in general don't speak to their accountant or they don't have one. They've got a bookkeeper but not an accountant. So people need to, as I've always said, spend the time and effort to know what you can and can't do, especially when new legislation comes in. There's, ways that you can get rebates, but also, for example, with the Respect at Work legislation, coming, or the amendment, there are a lot of things you can and can't do now that you need to prepare for your workplace.
Well, let's talk about Respect at Work laws.
Well, so, once it comes into, officially comes into legislation, you've got pretty much not much time. So you've got 12 months to prepare. What it's doing is saying that you have to make a workplace comfortable for people. So, it's really disappointing that we have to do this, that sexual harassment is that bad. A couple of points. Firstly, it'd be nice to see Parliament actually lead the way and have a safe environment first. Then we actually have leaders that we can respect and follow. And at the moment, that's not really happening at all. So we need them to lead the way. And secondly, organisations now really need to look at bringing in experts or bringing in someone who can lead that charge. So review policies, listen to people in complaints, because a lot of sexual harassment that I deal with when I'm coaching, career women, they don't know how to speak up. They don't feel like they can speak up. They feel like they'll be attacked and pushed out of an organisation if they speak up, which is a reality. So we need to change that. We need to make sure that you're not going to be pushed out and that even the person who made the mistake, they need an opportunity to learn, change their behaviour instead of them being kicked out. So it's kind of changing completely how everything's done, which is positive, but we want to make sure small businesses are prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, overall it's positive because when we were coming through, there was no provisions around that or no provisions around bullying either.
Oh, that's another thing to talk about, victimisation. So bullying is huge. And so what they've done, I'm kind of here nor there on this, but they're doing data collection. So that could mean reading emails and tracking what you're putting in emails, which is a good thing, but also there's that privacy issue. So I don't really like organisations being right into people's privacy in emails. However, if someone is emailing you and bullying you and victimising you, then obviously you want them to be able to read what's happening. But yes, I'm glad it's in. It shouldn't have to be, which is really quite shocking, because I mean, even coming up the corporate world, the things I went through, I mean, I would face them head on, but not everyone can do that. So I think also we need to help people facilitate how to communicate and how to handle situations, but have a process that when you do make a complaint or when you do speak to HR isn't then told, get rid of that person. You're actually working with that person to make sure they enjoy their job.
It was the Wild West when I started in the media 30 years ago. Thankfully, there has been a stack of change,
Yes.
which is positive. Now, what about this ABS data around profit versus wages? Where you were there?
Yeah, so interesting that, a lot of people wanting to increase their wages, and there are some organisations that are making a lot of profit, but they're not passing it down, which is mining. That's quite common. So from the employee's perspective, follow the money, as I say. So, for example, IT and places like that, they're paying really well because they don't have many people to choose from. The stock is low. So upskill and go to the organisations that are paying you. Yes, it's nice to lobby. People might strike. People might do a lot of things to say, I deserve more pay. But it's also smart to upskill on the side, to go for where the money is actually being spent on the employees, because some organisations just won't do it. At all. And you can't do much about that.
No, absolutely. Well, we're heading into the festive season, Christmas and New Year. Life needs to have the yin and yang. There needs to be balance, doesn't it? So people need to know how to turn the engines off
Yes.
to reignite into the new year. It's an important component of small business, isn't it?
It is.
To know when to actually turn it down and turn it on.
I always say slow down instead of turning it off. So, because as a small business owner, you don't stop thinking about your business. So slow down, remove yourself from the working in the business and start planning on the business. Because if you have 1 month or 2 months completely off, then you're actually behind 2 months by the time you start the new year. And I also believe in strategically putting in rest breaks throughout the year so you don't have that burnout. But definitely slow down and plan ahead and look at the free resources state and federal government have for small businesses, because it's going to get tough next year. Prices will go up, supply costs will go up, super is going, all these things are going up for the small business owner. So slow down and kind of plan for a hard year.
It's a great message, though. It's like, just do a little bit of that extra due diligence. I'm a small business owner myself. You have to do it. You can really get a lot of positives to come going forward if you do that before.
Yeah, and break it up as well. So planning. So if you just burn out and do nothing, then you're playing catch up all next year. And next year is going to be tough. So reach out to people, learn, do some, YouTube training, whatever it is, get some free courses, but also restructure, look at your bookkeeping, your accounting, say, what can I cut? What do I need to do?
Beautiful. I won't see you before Christmas, so have a good Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
Amanda Rose.